On this episode of Before Brunch, we're highlighting women who are using their talents and resources to create impactful movements in prison reform, homelessness, women's empowerment, and financial freedom. Today's guests include Dominique Clark, founder of Binworthy.com, Katrina Freeman, creator of Keep VA Warm, Monique Yesenia, criminal justice reform advocate, and Tanita Brinkley, owner of Tanita Brinkley Enterprises. Today we're talking about prison reform, homelessness, financial freedom, and women's empowerment. So thank you all for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
So the first question I have, so there's been so many movements over the last few years, right? What motivated you to start your own movement? Because I mean, what you all are doing, yeah, it might be considered a job, quote unquote, but it's really a movement. So what's motivated you?
Wow, for me, it was definitely the desire and the need to persevere through my personal circumstances. A lot of people know that I've been a wife for 10 years and a business partner as well at the same time. And that's all I knew. So for me, with my recent change in life, I definitely wanted to just reach out to women who were going through similar situations and to just show them that you can overcome through your situation and be financially free. So I've been gravitating to people who want to learn more about financial freedom through business ownership and multiple streams of income. With me, I have been an accountant for who knows how long, but it's deeper than accounting for me. And the thing about it is I've learned to expand my financial horizons through multiple streams of income by also selling products and complementary items through my business. And I wanted to just educate people that there are ways to set up your business entity that helps you to be able to accomplish things in your future. If you want to buy property, you just have to have a strategy. A lot of people don't understand the strategy that needs to be in place as a business owner so that you can achieve things in the future. So for me, overcoming a situation and learning that strategy needs to be put in place, the passion behind it all makes me want to just help more people to understand how to be strategic and build their empire based on that strategy.
Right, that financial freedom is key.
Exactly.
For sure.
Yes,
Dominique, I'll come to you.
Yeah, so as the founder and CEO of Binworthy, Binworthy is a media platform that's the intersection of feminism, self-worth, authenticity, and entertainment for the women of color. My initial goal was really to start a conversation, right? It was to empower women through media to recognize that not only were they worthy, but they've been worthy and to start acting accordingly. But then I noticed that as I started talking about the launch, as I started announcing that this new media platform was coming, women started not only having conversations, but they started making declarations. They started posting on social media, that they've been worthy. They started tagging me in their posts with the latest accomplishments that they've been able to achieve. And I realized that they started adopting Binworthy as an attitude. And I realized at that moment that this is a movement, right? This wasn't bigger than just sharing compelling stories online. This was an affirmation that women didn't know that they needed. And I was happy to be the one. I was glad to be the one to spearhead this movement to get women to realize that now is the time more than ever, specifically women of color, to not only just have a seat at the table, but to own that thing, right? And so this movement, this declaration, this affirmation, this attitude, for me, it has been the most life-changing experience because I realized that I have an opportunity now to shift a conversation. It's one thing to know that you're worthy, but it's a whole other thing to realize that you've been worthy and start acting accordingly. And so leaning into this movement is an honor. I'm excited that women are taking it on and recognizing that this is their time and it's been their time. And as women of color, we need to shine. We need to be at the front of these tables, own these tables. We need to be at the front of the room. We need to be at the head of the pack, right? Because we've been given the gifts, talents, skill set, knowledge to do the things that our white counterparts have done for years. No one just has given us the opportunity to do so, right? Or shined light on the things that we've already been doing in and for our community. And so that's what I've been able to do thus far with Binworthy. And I'm just really excited to see where it goes from here and how women continue to shift the conversation, the narrative within our community.
Basically telling all of us, get in a formation, sis. Like, get it together.
Nice.
Katrina, I'll come to you.
For me, with my initiative, we began to see more people who were homeless because of COVID and lack of resources. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to pour back into our community by providing the resources that were not readily available due to COVID closing down our churches and some of the organizations not being able to provide what they needed due to funding. So we went out and we started to service the community because a lot of people forget about our vulnerable community. There are people who are who still working, but people don't realize that just because you're homeless doesn't mean you're not working. So we wanted to show people the faces of these homeless people and show them that, you know, we're about community. It's not just us going out there just to give them food, but we wanted to change their lives. And with my initiative, that's exactly what we're doing. We're changing lives every day, and we want people to see that they can be productive, they can go back into the world and be self-sufficient. So with my initiative, that's what we plan to do.
Wow, I love that. Awesome. I mean, you think about homelessness as, people just out here begging, but I remember seeing a homeless person in a Target parking lot just a week ago, and he was like, hey, do you just have some change? And I was like, well, here's some apple juice. I didn't have any change on me. He was like, thank you so much. Anything helps. I'm going to work tomorrow, so I just need something to get me through the night. So you don't even think about that. So I love that. And Monique, I'll come to you.
For me, the injustices for Black and brown people, I got into the whole advocacy game 10 years ago. It'll be 10 years, May 23rd. Just seeing how much the suffering is going on for wrongful convictions and those who've been sentenced harshly, I had to jump in some way, somehow, start studying the law, connecting with people who advocate, great attorneys, innocence projects, and just working, collaborating with people on getting people home who have been wrongly convicted or duped by the system. And for me, it's just the whole freedom and liberation of our people. Yeah. And my biggest case is Travion Blunt, getting him home.
Like, do you have to have a law degree or anything to do this type of work to get somebody free?
No, you just jump in.
Wow.
Make noise. I mean, you can get certified for PI work and we're women, so we don't need a certification for that.
Okay, we know how to, yes.
Right.
We know how to private investigate. Right.
We are private investigators by nature. Yes. So for me, I can find anybody, give me a name in 15, 20 minutes. I got witnesses, I got everything. But no, you don't. You just, like I said, right at this very moment, I'm studying to be an attorney now, after all of these years. However, but the advocacy part of it, I just started researching some things, collaborated with a girlfriend of mine who does advocacy work, who's now running for judge in Pennsylvania, got some tips, and I just made my own lane in this and been very successful.
Yeah, well, I asked that because I want people to understand, like, hey, you don't have to, be in law school or be an attorney yet to start doing the work. And I think that's kind of key for all of you all. And it kind of ties into that Binworthy. Hey, I've been doing the work, or I've been, knowledgeable in this, and I've been known this is my blessing. Like, is this something that you all feel supported in doing by, like, the public or by your own circle? I know sometimes being an entrepreneur and doing these movements can be very lonely. So do you all feel supported in what you're doing?
My circle, definitely. That's the biggest support. My family, fiance, friends, and everything, that's the biggest support. The people, everybody out in the world, like, again, Travion Blunt, the Jerron Tuckers, the Lewis Mocks, they wouldn't be home if it wasn't for the people. I might have started the movement and pushed petitions and did everything and spread it on a worldwide basis, but the people flooding governor's offices, writing letters, phone calls, they don't, as the children say, want the smoke. So they'll start, looking into further on what's going on with the case and everything.
In the financial field, it's like sometimes people don't want to expose their financial status, especially when they're on the gram flexing their new Gucci bag.
I know.
Do you want to share your financial status?
I know, that's so funny. Well, to answer the question, yes, the support is major, and I'm so appreciative of it. What's funny about what you just said is the reason why I stopped posting pictures of myself with clients, because I do understand the confidentiality of things. And if there's a person who comes to me because they want to clean up their financial history, they don't want to post and say, hey, I'm clean now, I'm good, or I'm moving forward. But yes, for me, the support has been major. There are people who haven't even used my services who send people to me. There are people who know that I do educational classes and they'll just inbox me and say, hey, when's the next one? I want myself and my sister to come with me. You know, we can make it a bestie type of thing. So the support has been great, and I'm definitely thankful for social media because it allows me to have a platform to be able to promote these types of things. But within my circle, it's even better because they are so supportive. Everyone within my circle supports me so much that they'll speak on my behalf and I'm not there. And then when I come around, they're like, sis, I told such and such about you and what you're doing and how you have that class coming up. I'm like, oh yeah, thank you for being my spokesperson. They're like, so they go hard with it. They're like, no, she's the person to go to. And I'm just so humble, so I'm thankful for all of that. But nevertheless, I'm definitely an advocate for financial freedom by way of entrepreneurship and multiple streams of income and just believing in yourself and pressing forward. So that's why I do educational classes, because I know entrepreneurs have a passion for what they do. But when it comes to the financial side and the organization side, there's a lack there. So that's where I come in to try and educate our community and our people as a whole.
Yeah. Dominique, how about you?
You know what? I have been overwhelmingly surprised at the support that I've gotten both within and outside of my circle. You know, I knew that the idea of Binworthy was what I'd like to call a God idea. It did not come from me, certainly from him. But when you think about the idea of worthiness, it is something that we've all struggled with at one point in our lives as women. And so it's certainly a shared endeavor. It's certainly a girl Me Too moment, right? I've been there, I felt that. And so bringing that to the forefront and having conversations, it's really been resonating with women. And you think about what's even happening across the world politically with women, with the Stacey Abrams of the world and Kamala Harris. Is like, we are feeling empowered in ways that we haven't before as women. And we're realizing that it's time for us to take our place. You know, we've been worthy to occupy spaces like this. And so I think women are feeling empowered and they're ready to own that stance and take that position, take their rightful position and show the world what we've got. And so I think the support has been tremendous because women are now realizing that, hey, specifically women of color, it's our time.
I totally agree with that. And I think, and sometimes, you know, that worthiness, you know, it goes up and down. Like after you become, let's say, a wife or then a mom, and then it's like, you know, it kind of those ebbs and flows. So I think it's so great to have a platform that's like, look, you're worthy all the time, no matter like your circumstance. Yes. I like that. Katrina, what about you with the homelessness? I mean, that's such a huge cause, and it's like, people just see, I think homeless people just, oh, that's just, he don't want to do the work, or she doesn't want to do the work, but you're actually like seeing these people for who they are. So what kind of support or not or lack thereof has that yielded you?
When I first started initially, it was just me and my funds. I would go out there every day and feed them, and I really didn't want to exploit them and put them on camera because I wouldn't want anybody to do me like that.
Right.
But they were more receptive of me doing it because they wanted the help. And the first day that I put it on social media, when I showed, you know, the people living in tents, I think within 48 hours, I raised $5,000 for them. Wow. And I was able to house 14 of them. So the support has been tremendous. Like, it's still pouring in. I'm still receiving support. And it's from people that I don't know, people in my circle. So it's been a blessing, really, because if it had not been for the outside support, I wouldn't be able to do half the things that I'm doing now. So support is really major, especially in our community when we're helping people that look like us. And I've been getting a lot of support, not surprisingly, from us.
That's good. Oh, that makes me feel good. It's like, you know, people, everybody, you know, they say always, well, everybody's one bad situation or bad decision away from being homeless. So no matter what your circumstances. So that's so impactful.
One check away,
Yeah. Right. And then when you talk about, you know, all your movements, it consumes a lot of your time. I mean, you're pouring so much of yourself into this. And so how do you find that balance into like, hey, okay, I need to like pour into myself, but then I really want to like, you know, give my all for this movement? Because a lot of times as women, we neglect ourselves for the greater good of everybody else. And then we burnt out and trying to pour from an empty cup. So how do y'all find that balance with such the impactful work that y'all are doing? Or do you?
Well, look, I think we had this conversation earlier. At first, it was rough because your emotions get the best of you in the work that I do. I mean, it really you know, I'm a prison coach as well, so I'm trying to do lessons for, you know, the offenders. I'm trying to pour into the cases. I want to save the world. I can't. That was me at first. Now,
You're like, hold
girl, right. The last 3-4 years, I have to have balance. It's very important to take me days. I make sure I do that. I make sure the meditation and everything every single day. I make sure I laugh, I make sure I dance, I make sure I have, and then I'll take out a few hours a day, per day, to do whatever I need to do for a case. Because somebody's life is on the line, clearly.
I've learned to incorporate balance. It's very difficult during tax season because my clientele is so demanding. They're like, I need that money. I need it now. But through it all, though, I definitely take time throughout the day to just focus on me. I'll take a break. I have assistants. I have 2 assistants now. I had one and it was like still overwhelming. I'm like, hey, I need another one. So I know how to delegate. Delegating is definitely something that I've learned throughout my journey. It helps me to be able to stay sane and have that me day. I take out time to go get a pedicure, manicure, and all things ladylike, massages and stuff like that. And then I get back to work. But I definitely feel that it's important to take care of yourself, because if you're not good, then you cannot execute on the highest level that you can. And you can't even be a team player. I mean, because when you're down, your team feels it. It's a vibe that you give off. And I'm big on vibes, and I love being this energetic, upbeat person. So that comes with me putting me first. So that's something that I've definitely learned throughout my journey. Yeah.
Dominique?
I have certainly failed in the balance department. It is not something that I wear well. And honestly, even though I love the idea of balance, for me, it's been all about prioritization. So whatever I need to prioritize in the moment, whatever needs more of my attention, energy, and focus in the moment, that's where I show up and give everything. Like right now, y'all are seeing me for the first time with makeup on, looking like something because I have COVID. I was tested positive for COVID almost a week ago, and I launched my business, or launched Binworthy, on Monday, but I had to push through because I had a goal. I made an announcement. This was something that people were expecting and waiting on. And although it may not make sense to a lot of people, I needed to push up and still show up. And so I'm just grateful that God gave me the capacity to do that and get through and get this thing launched. But now, in that moment, I couldn't prioritize, which doesn't make a lot of sense to say. I could not prioritize my health 110%. I wasn't on a ventilator. I wasn't in the hospital. I was able to manage everything at home. But still, I wasn't well. But I had this thing that I needed to push out that people were expecting and waiting on. So as soon as I hit publish, as soon as I launched that thing, then I was able to take care of me completely and fully. So I say that to say I'm learning balance. I'm not great at it. It's still something I'm trying to navigate. But for me, prioritization has been the biggest thing, just giving my attention, my full focus, and honestly, depending on my tribe, having dope people in my corner that can show up for me when I can, that can look after the kids when I have to be on camera and participate in Before Brunch, right? That can hold the house down and pick up a broom, when I got to get this article published. So, I'm learning balance. I'm still getting, adjusting to the idea of balance. But whatever needs my energy and focus at the time gets that. And then I have a dope community. I have an amazing husband who steps in and fills in for me in areas that I can't at the moment. And so.
Well, number one, thank you for showing up. I hope you're feeling better.
I know. I was like, this sounds really crazy right now, but
y'all, this is what women do though. We will have like one leg missing and still be trying to go run a marathon.
It's
the
cape never hangs up.
Yeah, it never hangs up. Katrina, what about you?
Oh, wow. What is balance, when I first started and we were just handing out the materials to the homeless, it was easier to balance my time and then being home with my kids. But then now, since we're building the houses for them, it's become a little questionable. I'm trying to make sure that we're pushing it out in a timely fashion so that we can house them. So I'm always out there. I'm always putting my hands, in the fire to help them. And my friends yell at me all the time. You gotta find some type of balance. You gotta take some me time. And I feel like when I do take the me time, I'm missing something. Someone needs me. So I've turned my phone off days.
Yeah. Well, you guys are building homes.
Yeah, we're building
tiny
homes, tiny
right?
homes for the homeless. So when we started that, my phone has not stopped ringing. I had over 500 emails and inboxes the day that it hit the news. So trying to cipher through that and donations and trying to house and provide food, it becomes very stressful. But I started to take some time away from it. Like if I spent 5 hours on, I'm gonna take 2 hours off. So I'm slowly getting into balancing my time for myself, but it's a task.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What's one thing that you want to share about like each of your individual fields that people might not know? Like what's one thing about prison reform that is so, I guess, like unexpected that you've learned?
It's not fair. The whole prison reform, I have a saying that, the prison pipeline needs to be broken because it's just not fair to those of color. But I don't know if that's at this day and age, people expect it or don't expect it. Because sometimes I still get shocked at some results that I see on TV or a verdict, or something like that.
It's popular now because, you see celebrities like Kim Kardashian, kudos to her for doing the work.
Yes.
But it's also like, everybody wants to jump on the bandwagon, and grateful that everybody wants to jump on the bandwagon, but like the work that comes behind that, And so I know sometimes people want to down her for that, but I'm like, look, if you can use your celebrity to free people.
Oh yeah, I've stuck up for Kim Kardashian plenty of times, because people are quick to throw your past in and try and mingle it in with the good that you've done.
Yeah.
Right. I always say, don't judge somebody with things that you used to do. We've done the Kim Kardashian. We just it just wasn't exposed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just things like that. And kudos to her. A friend of mine, Momo, she got him home. He's home. He's doing very well. And if it wasn't for her, he wouldn't be home after serving 26 years.
Wow.
So it's a lot of wrongful convictions.
Yeah.
It's so many, it's heartbreaking. I'm flooded with emails consistently. And again, I can't help everybody, but it's just a lot.
Yeah, well, thank you for the work that you do.
I appreciate it, thank you.
So, what about you in the financial aspect? I think sometimes in our culture, it's like everybody want to be flossy, and we talk about money, especially when you think about like the entertainment and specifically the hip hop industry. It's all about like flashing the money and this and that, but you're not really financially free. You just got a stack of money. So what's been like one of the challenges or one of the most eye-opening things when dealing with finances?
Well, for me, it's definitely the fact that a strategy that works for you may not necessarily work for everyone else. Mm-hmm. So just understanding the unique nature of your financial situation and then just tackling your future goals. A lot of people don't think about incorporating their right now and their future goals into a plan or budget, so to speak, right now. So for me, one thing that I've noticed with working with people is that they'll take bits and pieces that they've seen from other people, things that may have worked for you or my sister here and my sister here, and they'll try and say that, why is it not working for me? And what we have to understand as people is that our backgrounds and our current situations are completely different. A minute piece of detail can really alter a financial situation and an outcome of a situation. So that's why I'm so big on the educational piece of this. I have classes every quarter, and what I'll be doing is just channeling in to talk to people to understand the benefits of setting up certain business entities, because the rapper that you speak of, that person may go into a business meeting not understanding that they need to be incorporated or have an LLC and a financial plan to move forward. So that stack of money that they're using to speak on a phone with, or a fake phone, hey, how you doing? That can be used as investment capital into their, future goals. So once we understand what we need to be doing as people, I think that, it'll help us move better and make better decisions now that'll be beneficial moving forward. So I want to enlighten, I want to help people, but I definitely want to take away these stereotypical stigmas that are out here about us with our ways of mismanaging money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Dominique, with you in worthiness and feeling empowered, what's your reflection on that?
Well, really, I was going to speak to being a journalist, because, and especially on camera, it's not easy to do what you're doing, Steph. It's not easy to get on camera and curate conversation. You think about, the Meghan Markle and Oprah conversation and interview that just happened. Everybody can't get up there and do what Oprah just did. It takes skill. It's not easy to curate conversation that resonates, right? That connects with people emotionally, that then creates a larger conversation, right? That people identify with and want to be a part of and share their thoughts. It's not easy to do that. You see us with makeup and on camera looking great and glam and all of that, but it takes skill, it takes research, it takes being a good communicator. It takes being a storyteller, being a great storyteller, and being able to pull out the meat of that story and getting people to be vulnerable and open up in ways that maybe they haven't before. And so I would just want people to know, in the world of media and journalism and curating conversations that really matter, it's not easy.
Girl, look, we're here. You already know I know. I feel you. Sometimes you're like sweating, waiting for the next question, like, Lord, how am I? Especially when you have conversation with people who just won't open up. And it's really, you're just pulling this point. It's like, all right, we're done here. I feel you. And Katrina, for you in the homelessness sector, that's like a 24/7, when a huge storm is coming, you got to prepare or whatever that may be. So what's your reflection on that?
A lot of people automatically assume, like you said before, that homeless people don't want to do anything for themselves, that they choose to be homeless. A lot of them do not choose to be homeless. They're either mentally ill or was in the military, and they just don't have the resources or don't have the help or the support. Some of them don't have family. They either died and it's just them. So a lot of people just automatically assume that, they can help themselves. They are, able-bodied people. Why are they not out working? But they are working. 95% of the people that we've been helping do work. They just don't have the $20, $30 an hour jobs that some of us have, or salary jobs. And I want people to stop looking at what it looks like on the outside and come out there and see what these people are really like. They're very humble, they're very loving, and all they need is support. They want to have someone to talk to and actually listen to them, not judge them, but listen. And a lot of times we do prejudge a situation before we go into it, but I really want people to see the beauty behind what we're doing with these individuals. We're changing their lives, and they're very appreciative of what we're doing for them. When I ask them for lists of things that they need, it is never like, oh, I want a computer. It is reasonable things like clothing or food. It is never something that's over $10. So they're very, very sweet individuals, and I want people just to like take time out to go down there and see what it's about. When you have a family member living in a tent that is being attacked by rats, and you have to have someone else to come out and support them, maybe you'll have a change of faith, and maybe you could go out there and see it. Well, I could live like that. Anything can happen. You can lose a house. It can be a fire, and you can end up being outside with no help. And we definitely want people to see what it's like and see the work that we're doing, so that you can be changed as well, because I've changed a lot by going through it.
Well, thank you, ladies, for sharing your journey and for doing the work. Like, so many people talk about it, but y'all are actually doing the work. So I challenge everybody who's watching to look into your local homeless shelter. Let's have this feeling of being worthy. Let's get financially free, and let's advocate for those who need to be freed. So I appreciate y'all. Thank you for joining the conversation. And for you all watching, make sure you tune in to Before Brunch TV every Saturday, and follow us on social media at Before Brunch TV, and you can watch previous episodes on our website. We'll see you next time.